Shields up, Ironbreakers, and welcome back to Monster Hunter. In my last live stream, I received a number of requests to check out a video from Karl Jobst called Monster Hunter Has a Cheating Problem. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with Karl Jobst's videos, he usually does videos where he goes over cheaters doing either speed runs or challenge runs. One of the videos of his that I'm familiar with is the one where he exposed Queen Ponzalot for faking a blind speed run of Alatreon, which at the time, the first time that I watched this one, I was like, oh wow, this is actually impressive. I don't think I really commented on this too much, at least I don't remember because this has been a while ago, but I was like, oh, interesting. But then when I saw Karl Jobst's video, I was like, oh, okay, so it's actually kind of fake. I usually don't overthink these things all too much. You can actually say I'm a little bit gullible, but it's also because the reality is I just don't care that much about cheating in video games. Now, when it comes to me and my personal views on cheating in video games, it's like this. If you want to cheat in your single player game, to me, it's like, look, you bought the game, you spent your hard-earned money on the game. As far as I'm concerned, you're allowed to do whatever the hell you want. You want to cheat, you want to one-shot monsters in your single player save file, perfectly fine, do whatever the hell you want. Now, me personally, I don't like doing that because one of the things that I've noticed, I've cheated in games in the past and a long time ago. And whenever I do, I notice that I instantly lose motivation to play the game. This is just something that happens to me. Like, even if it's like, oh, I'm just going to cheat to give myself like 2 levels or just get this little upgrade thing that I want, my brain instantly switches off and the game instantly loses all integrity to me and I can't play the game anymore. That's just me. But you do whatever you want. It's none of my business what people do in their single player games. On the other hand, if you bring that crap online, I hate you. I do. I really do. If you bring cheats to an online game, I don't like when people do that. And as far as I'm concerned, if it was up to me, you'd be banned from the community for a minimum of a year. You know, you cheat in an online community, boom, instantly 1 year without access to that community. You come back, you cheat again, boom, 10 years. And after that, you know, that community is probably going to be gone by then, so it doesn't really matter. Might as well be a permaban from that community after that first thing. But that's the way that I look at things, but, you know, to each their own. Now, when it comes specifically to Monster Hunter, there's a couple of aspects here, particularly when it comes to speedrunning, because Monster Hunter, in order for you to do appropriate speedruns, you're going to need to grind a lot of materials. You're going to need to grind for consumables. You're going to need to grind and grind and grind to really like, oh, I actually have to craft this new weapon and I have to augment it, and there's all of these RNG aspects and all that stuff. I understand that that is a struggle if you happen to be you know, a speedrunning YouTuber, content creator that's trying to do speedruns, do all that stuff. Doing all these things legit is kind of hard. So I actually know of quite a few people in the speedrunning community in Monster Hunter. Some of them have talked about this publicly. Some of them have talked about this privately. But I know of quite a few people that actually use stuff like, hey, you know, you get yourself like as many healing potions as you want because this is just a matter of grinding them in game. And, you know, but they make sure that whenever they do their runs, according to what I've been told, that they're legit runs, like everything would work with no modded monster AI, none of that stuff. And to be honest, in that case, I'm kind of like, it's whatever. You're going to be speedrunning this thing for like 10,000 attempts anyway to get the perfect time. I don't blame you for not wanting to grind this stuff. Again, me, personally, I don't do it, and I'm not judging anybody that does. It is what it is. Again, the thing that usually concerns me is if you're cheating, messing with monster AI, giving yourself unfair levels of damage, making broken builds that can't be replicated legitimately in the game. All of that stuff is what really bothers me. And usually I just prefer to play with people that don't engage in any of that stuff to begin with, but, you know, to each their own. None of my business what you do in your video games. Just don't bring that shit online is the way that I look at it. So let's take a look at this cheating problem because, again, I usually don't follow these things, so I don't know what's going on. But
Hello,
let's see.
You absolute legend.
Oh, and by the way, there's going to be a link to the original video, so make sure to check that out. Leave a like. Watch the original video before you watch my reaction. Like, actually give your watch time to Karl Jobst because I'm assuming he did a ton of research into this, as he has done for the Queen Ponzalot video and a lot of the material in his channel. Check him out. Subscribe if you like this type of content too. Let's begin.
In 2023, the Monster Hunter World speedrunning community began to witness something astonishing. A Chinese speedrunner known as Bad Cat started to dominate the game in a way that no one had ever seen. They were crushing world records left and right. It seemed like every few days they would upload a new world record, and there was no monster they
I'm not familiar with this person, in case you guys, I don't actually, like I said, I don't actually follow that much of speedrunning. In terms of Monster Hunter, I usually stick to other types of content, like just what I usually like to see is like people starting fresh in the game. That is usually more interesting to me, but bad cat.
They couldn't completely dominate. This shouldn't really happen, at least not in Monster Hunter.
No, it should happen because he's playing Sword and Shield, which is one of the coolest weapons in the game. Badass.
This is because, as is true for many
These
games
damage
when it
numbers
comes
are
to
insane,
speedrunning,
though.
Monster Hunter is very luck dependent. Yes, in order to achieve world records, you need a lot of skill and a lot of knowledge about the game, but you also need the monsters to cooperate. Monster behavior is random, and certain monster actions allow you to use more optimal strategies. If you get lucky and the monster chooses favorable actions, you can do damage quicker and kill them faster. Normally, players would need to grind monsters for a long time to get the best luck, but not this speed.
I was wondering if this is on PC or PS5, but I guess it's PC because what the hell is this number? 559.
This force from the east would get optimal luck extremely quickly, far quicker than anyone else, and they were accumulating a world record tally that was unbelievable. The other speedrunners felt like this shouldn't be.
I love how I was asking, oh, is this PS4? As he's got like a modded anime character in there.
Than anyone else, and they were accumulating a world record tally that was unbelievable. The other speedrunners felt like this shouldn't be possible, but just saying that someone is getting too lucky isn't really good enough. Unless, of course, the odds are stupidly unrealistic. However, the real truth would soon be revealed when another speedrunner noticed that one of the monsters did something that shouldn't be possible. This wasn't an instance of monster behavior that was just unlikely.
Bro, what the... I gotta ask, what the crap is this Rajang doing, bro? Look at this! He's just sitting in that corner jumping backwards. I know it might be possible. Wait, and... He's stealth. Oh, he's using the smoke thing. He's using the smoke thing for stealth.
Felt like this shouldn't be possible.
You can see that he's stealth because it's got the purple outline in the map here. That means that the monster hasn't actually seen you.
But just saying that someone is getting too lucky isn't really good enough. Unless, of course, the odds are stupidly unrealistic. However, the real truth would soon be revealed when another speedrunner noticed that one of the monsters did something that shouldn't be possible. This wasn't an instance of monster behavior that was just unlikely. This was something no one else had ever seen before, not once in the history of the game. And sure enough, when experts checked the game files and examined the code, it was confirmed. This particular action at this particular time wasn't possible. It was...
Wait a second. I want to read that. AM Manipulation Max Punch. This 454 TA Wiki and Seclave run of Master Rank Kolf to Roth by Bad Cat has been brought to my attention. According to an experienced Kolf to Roth runner, the final attack Kolf to Roth does in this run should not be possible. The Max Punch move should not occur after Kolf to Roth has enraged in Phase 3. This analysis aims to show whether or not this attack can legally occur in Phase 3 post-enrage. The main files we analyzed that dictated Kolf to Roth's attack patterns were... file names. Node 141 and Node 142 are the keynodes for calling the Max Punch attacks. I don't even remember what the hell the Max Punch is. I haven't fought Kolf to Roth in so long.
Time wasn't possible. It was clear that this speedrunner was modifying the game and changing the way that monsters behave in order to kill them faster. After they were...
I'm assuming that the Max Punch is probably one of the moves that Kolf to Roth has that has a bigger opening. And that would be why he would do it, because that would allow him to really exploit it, especially if it's got a bigger opening and you're playing something like Dual Blades.
The speedrunner stopped uploading runs, but on their very last upload, the title was different from the others. It now revealed the truth, that it was tool-assisted. Monster Hunter has a cheating problem, and over the past several months, a slew of speedrunners have been exposed as hacking the game to get unrealistic monster behavior. And what's worse is that they are racking up millions of views with unaware viewers that...
Why would you... Why... I don't... Bro, it's... Why do people do this? God damn, bro. Is it really that bad that we need likes in social media this bad that it's like, oh, I'm just going to cheat. I'm going to cheat, become a champion. Again, I guess people cheat at everything nowadays. I guess this is one of the... I mean, for starters, I'm not skilled enough to pull any of these off, even legitimately. I'm aware of that, right? I'm an aging gamer. My reflexes aren't what they used to be back in the day. I'm not. Actually, no. And when it comes to Monster, I'm in my prime. It's in my prime was never that good.
Believe their achievements are completely real. In this video, we will take a look at how speedrunners are cheating their way into Monster Hunter fame and earning a pretty penny while doing it. I really hope you enjoy.
This makes me really sad.
Now, legends, this video is brought to you
Before we go any further, I would just like to point out that likely people that do this stuff are a minority of the community. I don't expect the majority of the community to be engaging in this. At least I hope not. Because I personally find the Monster Hunter community to be super welcoming, super wholesome, at least the people that I hang out with whenever we're doing live streams and stuff. And I don't want to believe that there's just like a bunch of speedrunners out there cheating everything, but oh man.
By the heroes over at Red Magic. Red Magic specialize in creating professional gaming equipment, and they have just released their brand new gaming mobile, the Red Magic 9S Pro. The Red Magic 9S Pro is specifically designed for people like you and I who like to use our phones for gaming. The specs are insane.
This specific sponsorship could not be further away from me. I do not use my phone for mobile gaming, but obviously we're going to let it play out. It's only fair.
Featuring a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 leading version processor and a huge 16GB of RAM. And personally, I really love the battery, which boasts a massive 6,500 mAh and charges in less than 1 hour. But how cool is this? Red Magic connects seamlessly to your TV, so I installed a bunch of emulators, and I've been using it as a mini PC to play all of my favorite classic consoles. It's not just a gaming phone, it really is a portable console that you take with you everywhere. It features lightning-fast shoulder triggers, and with Red Magic's incredible Ice 13.5 cooling system, this thing remains cold at all times, no matter how intensive your gaming gets.
Bro, I could never play a video game like this. I can't. I'm sorry. Again, I'm not trying to disparage the sponsor and all that stuff, but it's like me and mobile phones is just not my jam. But like, hey, if you're into it, you know, check out the Karl Jobst thing.
It has a huge screen that looks great
Snapdragon.
and comes in 4 sexy designs. And because Red Magic has streamlined their phone to specialize in gaming, it's only around half the price of other leading mobile phones. If you love gaming on your phone and you want the best possible experience, definitely give the Red Magic 9S Pro a look. The link is in the description. RNG is a variable that gamers have to deal with in almost every single game that exists. It's the very thing that drives enemy behavior in order to achieve a more unpredictable and interesting gaming experience.
I gotta ask, Karl Jobst, why wouldn't you use footage from my Alatreon kill? Such a fantastic speedrun. It only took me like 13 minutes or 14 minutes with the gun lens. What do you mean? It was an amazing run.
In speedrunning, enemy behavior is almost always one of the most impactful variables. We need enemies to do certain things at certain times in order to get things done in the quickest time. And in a game like Monster Hunter, monster behavior is almost everything. That's because the entire game revolves around fighting monsters. In Monster Hunter, players...
There's definitely been certain fights where I've been where I was like, oh man, I got lucky in the AI on that one, because depending on the paths, you can manipulate it to some extent by manipulating like the distance. And when I say manipulating, I'm not talking about illegally. I'm talking about gaming the game. Depending on the distance that you're at from the monster is going to react to you differently. So you can bait some attacks. You can go in close and they're going to do like a close range swipe. You can move further back and they're going to do ranged attacks. So there are certain attacks that you can bait and you can take advantage of it. But depending on the monster and depending on the move set that they have available to them, you can't fully game everything. Certain times you're just going to get, you know, some AI that's not fantastic particularly for speedrunning. Not to mention there's another aspect of it when it comes to speedrunning, which I'm not even sure if that's allowed or not in TA rules, because again, I don't really follow that type of stuff. Like, what about drunk burbs? Like, drunk burbs will save you so much time. That's another aspect that people could potentially be manipulating. I'm assuming in like freestyle, because there's freestyle categories. Can you not abuse drunk burbs, just like go to the game's code, modify it's like you get drunk burbs 100%. That's like sometimes it can be like at least 30 seconds shaving off of your time depending on where the monster is.
Begin quest which involves slaying a particular monster. Once the monster is slayed and the quest is completed, the game shows your completion time. It's this in-game timer that speedrunners and the general community use to time their runs. Speedrunning Monster Hunter involves a lot of planning. Players theorize and craft special builds and try to plan out as best they can which skills and buffs they will implement and in what order. Players also need to plan when and where they will deal damage to fully take advantage of in-game mechanics. Each monster has unique damage thresholds that allow you to stun, stagger, or knock them down. And doing these at the optimal time will give you the greatest amount of control over the monster so you can continue to do as much damage as possible. This
is how you see things like really skilled hunters like Kanta and whatnot pulling off stuff like killing monsters with snowballs. Or, you know, there are some other really skilled hunters that, you guys remember the one, was it a gun lance that did, I forget if it was a gun lance or an insect glaive that did it in, I think it was Rise. And basically they followed this, I think it was a Rathian that was flying through the map, and they predicted where it was going to go, and then they like blast dash their way to it, and then just like, no, it was, damn it, I don't know if it was Gunlance or Insect Glaive, but they basically got there and took her out midway through the air, which is really impressive. But again, it requires a lot of skill to know when the monster is exactly at that spot.
Requires a lot of calculation, and runners spend a lot of time planning which attacks to use, when to use them, and which areas of the monsters to target. This is called scripting, and players will try to script as much of each fight as they can. However, as monsters become stronger and the fights grow longer, this adds more and more RNG into the mix. Obviously, if a fight is
like that right there, if you happen to be somebody that doesn't completely understand Monster Hunter, this right here is a perfect skill expression of what it's like to play the Greatsword. Because see, the Greatsword has a move that is called the True Charge Slash. The way the True Charge Slash works in Monster Hunter World Iceborne is basically it's a 2-hit move. And first it does a hit that doesn't deal that much damage, and then it does a follow-up hit that deals massive amounts of damage. So the thing is, the second hit, the damage of the second hit is influenced by whether or not the first hit occurred. So what you're seeing here, for instance, by Crim Dog X, is that this user is setting up the perfect hit, in that you can see that
players will try to
this
script
monster
as much of each fight as they can.
Is about to fall asleep. You'll see it right
as
here.
Monsters become
see how it's like, oh, it's about to fall asleep, right? So what he wants to do is he wants to land that first hit of the True Charge Slash while the monster is falling asleep, but before it actually is asleep. The reasoning behind that is because when the monster's asleep, the next hit's going to deal bonus damage. And he doesn't want to waste that bonus damage on the first hit of the True Charge Slash, but he still wants to land that first hit of the True Charge Slash. That's where this strategy comes in that he's doing right here.
Stronger and the fights grow longer.
He hits the first hit while it's still falling down,
into the mix.
and the second hit,
obviously, if a
4,000
fight
damage.
is longer, a monster will execute more actions, and because each action is random, things become less and less predictable. And this is especially important because some actions are more beneficial than others. Some attacks don't require you to dodge or move around as much, and thus you can keep attacking and doing damage. The best Monster Hunter speedrunners have fights down to a science, and they know the best ways to punish any particular move a monster does. But because each move is punishable by a different amount, getting lucky is going to help you kill the monster quicker, and getting unlucky can completely destroy any chances of a new record. For example, when fighting against the monster Alatreon, which you will remember from my videos looking at Queen Ponsalot's fake blindfold runs, when using the heavy bow gun, runners hope that the monster does the lightning rain attack as much as possible. During this attack, the runner can continue to spam attacks and they don't need to move. One runner that got particularly lucky with Alatreon was a runner known as Deva. Deva is certainly one of the most well-known Monster Hunter speedrunners in the entire world, and have used their speedruns to help build a modestly successful YouTube channel, boasting over 70,000 subscribers and tens of millions of channel views. Deva is a really good speedrunner.
He's not gonna say that Deva is one of the... No.
their About section, they claim over 50 speedrunning world records, and according to Deva himself, he is the #1 speedrunner in the world.
And now, right now, in the position I am, I have no one to look up to. Like, I don't. I don't.
Look at
Sadly.
Anbata.
And that's bad because you can't improve anymore. Like, you can't improve if you don't have anyone to look up to.
Deva was well known in the speedrunning community for his lucky runs, and on his Alatreon runs especially, it was unbelievable how well behaved the monster seemed to be. For the past several years, Deva was light years ahead of the other speedrunners, beating Alatreon much faster than anyone else ever had. On his 2 fastest runs, Alatreon's behavior throughout the entire fight was almost identical, and Alatreon was spamming lightning rain more than anyone else had ever experienced. More specifically, and what's noteworthy, is that Alatreon did the lightning rain move twice in a row, which seemed to be particularly rare. The speedrunner Juzzy decided to look into these runs because they just seemed a bit suspicious. He asked other speedrunners if they had ever seen Alatreon use lightning rain twice in a row, and the answer was always no. No one else had ever seen it. Truthfully, no one else even thought it was possible for Alatreon to do this, and yet Deva had it happen multiple times. Juzzy then asked someone from the Monster Hunter modding community to look into the game's code, specifically the probabilities that govern Alatreon's behavior. And as it turns out, it should be literally impossible for Alatreon
Oof. Alatreon will never do 2 lightning rains in a row uninterrupted. The Charge Blade run sequence of getting up from Wall Bang and Rage Roar, lightning rain is impossible. The Heavy Bowgun run sequence of Flinch, lightning rain is impossible. The Alatreon AI in these runs must have been modified. Oof.
Alatreon to do this move twice in a row. Juzzy confronted Deva about this, and initially, Deva completely denied it. But after learning that Juzzy was about to go public with a video exposing Deva's cheating, he confessed to changing the enemy's AI in order to get faster speedruns.
There is so-called THK files, which basically alter the percentage of certain moves, and that has been used in my Alatreon on the Charge Blade run, which had like a higher percentage to increase the lightning attacks.
But what's interesting is that Deva claimed that hacking the game to do this isn't wrong. According to Deva, it's not cheating if he changes enemy behavior because his speedruns are just for content and aren't competitive.
In my opinion, there is nothing wrong with it. It's RNG. It's RNG manipulation just like everything else.
No. I completely disagree with that. The moment you fuck with the monster's AI, no. Not to mention that in this specific case, you fucked with the monster's AI in a way that basically can't happen on regular monster behavior. Stuff like this, by the way, stuff like this, and I'm not even exaggerating when I say this, is the reason why Capcom goes to the lengths of the anti-cheat and all of that stuff. Stuff like this is why. Because, you know, they like to look at the stuff that people are creating for Monster Hunter, because I know that the team looks at videos that the community posts and they select certain videos to show back to developers and all that stuff. This is normal stuff. It happens pretty much with any video game that you can think of. And, you know, if you start seeing a bunch of videos where people are cheating, or you can't even tell the difference anymore, is this legit, is this not legit, and they want their game to be legit, I would imagine. So, you know, it is what it is.
Everyone can think differently. Of course, you can say it's an unfair advantage, but of course,
yeah, of course it is.
I do non-competitive runs. It's just content.
But as shown before, this isn't how Deva advertises his channel. He says he has legitimate world records, and nowhere has he ever publicly stated on any of his runs that the enemy's behavior has been modified. And as a result, all of his viewers think they are real. And some of the comments are pretty funny when you know that he modifies the game. Despite what Deva claims, no reasonable person would ever see these videos and think they were anything other than a legitimate speedrun. And beyond this,
I mean, let's just look at this from a logical standpoint, right? If you're posting speedruns, on YouTube, unless you're specifically saying, "Oh, I use this cheat just to make this for the lulz," If you're specifically admitting it, that's one thing. But the moment you're posting a speed run, let's not kid ourselves. Let's not kid ourselves. You're posting a speed run because you're like, I'm the best. I'm competitive. Look at how fast I can kill this. I mean, I know that I think it's the only run I've ever posted a time on was my Alatreon run, it's not a competitive time. It was just like my personal best. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to kill Alatreon with gun lance, and I wanted to do it solo in a way that I was happy with, which means just like killing him without carding. I know, look, I'm not looking to be the best Monster Hunter player. I'm just looking to, have some fun with the game, create some content around the game, hopefully bring newcomers to the game. That's the way that I roll, right? So I was happy because I spent a bunch of hours working on my Alatreon kill. And, the best that I came up with was at 13 or 14 minutes. I don't remember exactly. That runs in the channel if you guys want to watch it. And I had a blast doing that because it was a challenge for me because it's gunlance. Gunlance is not the most optimal way to take out Alatreon because shelling is an absolute nightmare. So I had to do it slap lance, blah, blah, blah. The point is, it's fun, right? But when you're doing this type of stuff, when you're like, oh, look at how fast I can kill this monster, obviously, the conclusion that everybody is going to reach by looking at one of these videos is like, this is a legit thing. Everybody should look at these as being legit. That's the way that I look at it. And I think it's unreasonable to say, oh, I was just doing it for content. It's like, yeah, you were doing it for content, but obviously you wanted people to think it was legit.
This, Deva is just straight up lying. While the main Monster Hunter World speedrunning leaderboards are no longer updated, Deva did submit his runs to them in the past, and his runs, which were world records at the time, are confirmed to also be hacked because of impossible enemy behavior. What's also troubling is that according to Deva, many other players are doing the same thing. And he knows this because they asked him directly for the same software that allows him to do it.
And a lot of people use it. I won't mention any names, but I cannot count with two hands how many people use THK editing for that, especially on Alatreon. Many of your friends, many runners that you know, and I have screenshots of many people that ask for it, but of course I won't out any of it.
Remember at the beginning of the video I described the Chinese speedrunner Badcat, who was dominating.
I love how he says, I have screenshots of people who asked for it, but I'll never out them. So why exactly did you take these screenshots? What? It was just in case I felt like throwing somebody under the bus. It's like, what do you mean? Obviously, I have screenshots, but I'll never out them. Why did you take these screenshots? What? This is insane.
The game throughout the past year. This was actually one of Deva's friends, though it was a different impossible behavior that exposed him. During the fight Calv Taroth, the monster did a move right before dying called Max Punch. This move had never been seen during this particular phase of the fight by other speedrunners, so the monster's behavior was decompiled, and it was proven that this behavior was impossible. And against Alatreon, the monster performed the sweeping fire breath move when Badcat was standing relatively close. Usually this move is only performed when you're some distance away. At least that was the experience of all of the other speedrunners. And once again, after looking at the game's code, they found it was impossible for Alatreon to choose that particular attack when you're standing that close.
I was just thinking to myself right now, it's like, why do people do this? And then I realized that it's just a different motivation. Because like when I look at these types of things, right, I think of myself, why would I want to do this? And the reality is I would want to do it for myself to prove that I can do it. But the people doing this that are modifying these files, they're doing it for social media brownie points. And I kind of feel like this type of behavior extends far past video games nowadays. Like, for instance, even at family gatherings, I'll look at family gatherings and I'll see some people in my family just like taking pictures of everything and nobody's actually living in a moment. Everybody's like posting everything onto Facebook and all other social, Instagram as well as what people do. And, and they're all then checking their phones to see if their pictures that they took got likes. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Like, I know as a YouTuber, I ask for likes. It's my job. But it's a weird thing to see everybody doing it just for the need of like validation. right? Because, like, I'm not asking for likes for validation when I ask you to like a video or subscribe, whatever. I'm doing that because the YouTube algorithm requires that so that they send my video to more people. Because fundamentally, I don't give a crap what the number of likes on a video is any more than what it contributes towards the search engine optimization. Same thing for number of views, same thing for watch length. I post the stuff because it's stuff that I like and that I'm interested in, and that's pretty much the end of it.
The 1st of May, Juzzy uploaded a video of these findings. Previously, Bad Cat was uploading a new world record every few days, but after Juzzy's video, he uploaded one last video with the title, including the tag TAS, indicating a tool-assisted speedrun, and he hasn't been seen since. Another friend of Deva was a speedrunner known as Retro. He claimed the fastest Alatreon kill using the hammer, and his run again involved ridiculous luck, meaning that no one else was even close. In his case, on top of being lucky, Alatreon exhibited behavior that no one else had ever seen. After taking a certain amount of damage, Alatreon will transition into his dragon state, and after this transition, after performing several attack combos, Alatreon normally jumps into the air and begins to fly. For melee weapons, this greatly limits their ability to do damage. However, in Retro's run, Alatreon never flew, not a single time.
Okay.
And this allowed Retro to continue doing max—
That one right there, I would have caught that one, because like all the runs that I did of Alatreon, I always remember that like the aerial phase was a pain in the ass because I was always trying to like clutch up in there, throw him into the ground, do something to keep the damage going. It was a very frustrating part of the fight.
Maximum damage with the hammer. And once again, when this specific area of Alatreon's code was examined, it was confirmed that after 3 or 4 attack combos, Alatreon is programmed to always fly. And the fact that Alatreon didn't fly on Retro's run confirmed that he was modding his game. When he was exposed, Retro claimed that he was using a no-fly mod to make his casual
My run was cheated 100%. There was a THQ file, THK file that was made and shared in the community for a no-fly Alatreon for Monster Hunter World LW, I guess Monster Hunter World players to enjoy casually. I fucking had it in my game, got the run and posted. When I realized, I made it private and tried to do it again, but couldn't. Of course you couldn't. That is possible, only very hard. Is it possible for him not to fly? Not according to what Karl Jobst is saying. I definitely never got him to not fly in my like 13 hours or so of attempts before I got the solo run that I was happy with.
Play more fun, and he accidentally left it on. It's important to remember that a lot of the things that caught these runners out, these impossible monster behaviors, weren't intentional. It was an unintended side effect of modifying the probabilities of certain moves. But now that the impossible behavior has been identified, these modders will simply make their hacks more sophisticated, and these blemishes will be patched out. These are just several examples. Even more cheaters have been caught, and there are a lot of other speedrunners that also show these same telltale signs of being too lucky. If what Deva is saying is true, many more speedrunners are indeed using mods. And given that these cheaters all spawned from the same group, it's obvious they were all in on it together. This never used to be such a widespread problem in Monster Hunter. It seems to have arisen within the last several years, and the reason is pretty logical. The Monster Hunter franchise has been around since 2004, but 2018 is when Monster Hunter World was released. This was an important entry to the franchise, because it was the first game to be released for the PC. PC is fantastic for the modding community, because so many tools already exist for the PC that'll—
Bro, I can't stand this. Oof. This is like that over-optimization mentality of MMORPGs, okay, bro? This looks like a fucking World of Warcraft UI. What the fuck? I can't, like, I can't, dude. I look at this, and this is just so triggering, because the problem is, where this ends is us getting these HP bar things in the fucking game, which I don't want. I didn't even want damage numbers. It's not the point. It's not the point. It's just never been the point. This is just like, it's just not that game. It's frustrating to see this. It really is. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm sorry. I get a little bit maybe too annoyed at stuff like this.
allow people to access and edit game files and modify the game. It is much harder to modify games on console because there is the added barrier of needing to develop specific software just to read and write files. And then when it comes to speedrunning on a PC, these modding tools also make it so much easier to cheat. On a PC, it's usually really simple to download a program that easily communicates with your game and changes the way it behaves. It's much harder to find software that could achieve these same goals on a console. So this recent epidemic of players cheating by modifying the game's AI is a result of the game being released on the PC. And sure enough, all of the players that are caught cheating in this way play on PC. Unfortunately, this new wave of cheaters have done irreparable damage to the—
This really sucks because there's a lot of people that play on PC that don't cheat. There are. And basically what ends up happening is now you have, you know, people see this video and there's like, all PC gamers, they're all cheaters, they're all cheaters. Well, let me tell you right now, I'm playing Monster Hunter Wilds on PC. Right now I'm playing through Iceborne on PC and I'm playing Wilds on PC. And the reasoning why I've transitioned from consoles to PCs is because consoles are taking a dump on physical media as a whole pretty much. They just don't care that much about it. Like even if you do get discs, usually discs are just, you know, fancy cup trays. That's what they're for, because you still have to download the whole game online, or, you know, if you get a DLC, it's going to be a code. It's not included in the disc. And so with physical media kind of like going the way of the dodo and everything going digital, I'm like, I might as well go to Steam, because then I don't have to pay to play online. And on top of it, you get cheaper games on Steam. So if we're going to go all digital, might as well go PC. That's the way that I started looking at things, because I've always been much more into playing on consoles than on PC. And it kind of sucks that this is going to be something that is going to be hounding down PC players. Like if they want to post a legit run, PC runs are going to be much more scrutinized than console runs because of this group of players that have been doing this. And it really friggin' sucks.
The Monster Hunter World speedrunning community. It's honestly impossible to know just how real something is if there aren't any glaringly obvious errors like impossible enemy AI. People will still continue to speedrun because they love the game, but they will always have—
I mean, hell, you can even just slightly change the damage of your weapon to make the kill faster. You can do so many other slightly, what am I trying to say, more subtle changes. Like you can make sure that every time the monster spawns, it's the smallest size possible. And I don't mean like ridiculously small, but smaller monsters have less HP. So you can, you know, just ensure that thing to be a thing that just has less HP. You deal more damage. You can do all of these things. I find it so weird that some of these runners would do this and they just be like, I mean, it's not cheating. I just changed the AI to be more favorable. And it's like, what do you mean? It's like you go into a boxing match and you studied the best defense possible and the best counter for a left hook. And then you just told your opponent to just do left hooks and nothing else. And then you beat the shit out of him. It's the same thing. What do you mean? Oh, I just slightly modified the monster. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Fuck out of here. You cheated.
To contend with other runners who modify the game and upload fake runs to YouTube. It's a sad situation all round, and especially for those dedicated runners that really do play the game legitimately. Thanks for watching, you legends. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.
Guys, make sure to check out the video. Like I said, there will be a link in the description box below. I'm going to go ahead and like this. I wasn't subscribed, but I will subscribe, because usually Karl Jobst posts follow-ups to a lot of his stuff, and I will want to follow up on this particular situation. I would recommend you check out the original, because obviously it's not going to have me blabbering all over it, and you guys will be able to get a better understanding of the situation. But what can I say other than this is very disappointing, and this is going to cause a whole lot of damage to the PC community of Monster Hunter. Guys, keep your cheats to yourselves. Like, if you want to cheat in Monster Hunter, go right ahead and do it, but keep it to your single player save file, and don't be posting friggin' speedruns if you've manipulated the monster's AI, or if you changed your equipment to be more powerful than what is intended to be in the game. Like, just stop. Just, why do you do this? Like, stop, please. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, again, make sure to check out the original, and hit the like button, subscribe bell, notification icon, all that jazz. We have a bunch of Monster Hunter Wilds content coming up. Hopefully you guys will enjoy that. I'll see you guys later. Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out.